what's up everybody? It's Amaya. So I'm so sorry that this video is getting out a little bit later, but as you can see, do you notice anything different? Maybe perhaps the entire room is a different color and my bed's over there and not over there. Like really? Wow. So I have been completely redoing my room, and for the past 2 weekends it's been insane. Anyways, so I am finally here and I am super excited because I'm going to be introducing a series on my channel. This is the first series I've ever done, and it is going to be called Better Your Basics. What is that? Basically, it's going to be bettering your basic makeup skills. So we're going to be taking it all back to basics and starting with foundation and concealer, which is going to be this week's video. The next week's video will be contouring slash bronzer slash brush slash highlighting. The video after that is going to be all about eyeshadow. One after that is going to be eyeliner and mascara. I'm not doing a video on lips because I feel like it's pretty straightforward, but if you want to see one on lips, I'll get it for you. So anyways, this is going to be a whole month series. It's going to be June, so June is going to be my series month this year. So yeah, I hope you guys like this, and basically this video is going to be talking about what foundation and concealer is, how to apply it, and how to buy it correctly. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Sorry guys, if you notice anything different, I just had to put mascara on because I realized I had it and I was like, girl, what are you doing? So first off, what is foundation? So foundation is makeup that you put on your face that is usually the same color as your skin or neck, depending on how different the color is. It comes in 3 different forms, which is liquid, cream, and powder. So I have all 3 of those examples here and I'm going to show them to you. First we have something like this. This is the L'Oreal True Match Lumi Foundation. You have seen me use this before. This is an example of a liquid foundation. So basically this comes out as a liquid and it's pretty thin and you put it on your face. Liquid foundation I feel like is pretty universal for everybody because it works if you have more oily skin, and it also works if you have more drier skin. Although if you have very dry skin, you want to maybe stay away from liquid because it can cling to your dry patches, but for the most part anybody can really use liquid foundation. The next example is this kind of foundation, and this is a cream foundation. There's also different foundations that are more like an actual cream. This one's closer to a liquid, but it is still a cream foundation. Cream foundations are really good for girls who have drier skin because it really helps moisturize your skin. So that's a good reason to use a cream foundation. And lastly, we have powder foundation. So powder foundation is exactly what it sounds like. It is a powder that is close to your skin tone. Now, if you are dry, you definitely do not want to use a powder foundation because that's just going to dry you out way more and cling to your patches and kind of make you look like a mess. However, if you have very oily skin and any sort of cream or liquid products that you're trying aren't working on you, you can try powder foundation. I also recommend powder foundation to girls who are really just starting out makeup. This is really good because it's kind of just like a powder you would put on your face. So yes, that is the difference between foundations. So the best way to identify what type of skin you have is to wake up in the morning and immediately address how your face feels. If you wake up in the morning and your face feels kind of tight and you may notice some flaking on your face anywhere, then you have dry skin. And for dry skin, you would go with either a cream foundation or a liquid. So if you wake up in the morning and you're trying to do this exercise and you're like, my face just feels fine, like I don't notice anything, then you have normal skin, my friend. How lucky. You can use any of these 3. A lot of times people that have normal skin, you can kind of tend to be on the drier side or on the oily side, but if you really just have normal skin, anything works for you. If you wake up and you feel kind of normal, maybe even a little bit tight in some areas, preferably like your cheeks and that area, but then you feel like a little bit oily and greasy in other areas, then you have combo skin. Combination skin is pretty, I think that's the most common type. You usually get greasy in this area, your T-zone, and you're pretty dry or normal on your cheeks and everywhere else. For you combo people, I would recommend using liquid foundation and a cream foundation. Since the majority of your face is normal to dry, I would kind of stay away from the powder foundations and just powder the areas that you have that are oily. Last but not least, if you wake up and your face feels like you just swam in a vat of vegetable oil, then you have oily skin, my friend. And if you have super oily skin, then you can go with a powder foundation, but for the most part, look for an oil-free foundation or a matte foundation that is going to not make your face look any shinier than it is. And speaking of matte foundation, what is the difference between matte and dewy foundations? And basically the only difference is that one has a matte finish or a flat finish, matte, flat, that's how you can remember that, and dewy, which is glowy. Matte and flat, dewy and glowy. So depending on what kind of finish you want on your face, you can get either of those. Liquid and cream foundations usually come in a variety of dewy finishes, matte finishes, natural finishes. There's so many different finishes. The recommendations for dewy foundations are the Maybelline Fit Me Dewy and Smooth foundation and the L'Oreal True Match Lumi foundation. These are two really great drugstore foundations that work really well for a dewy finish on your face. A lot of times people that are drier want to look dewy because it kind of brings some life back into your face, but if you're oily and you want to look dewy too, that's fine. Just go with a natural or matte finish foundation, and a lot of times your natural beautiful oils will shine through. Now matte foundations, basically matte flat. I don't have any matte foundations with me because I do not personally like matte foundations for myself, but I think they are gorgeous on other people. You just have to like that finish. A lot of good matte foundations are the Benefit Hello Flawless foundation. I think it's a longer name, but that's pretty much what it is. The other one is Maybelline Fit Me Matte and Poreless. That is also really good. And L'Oreal True Match, just the regular one, not the Lumi. That one is also very good for more of a matte finish. Maybe more of a natural finish, but closer to a matte finish. I'll put all these in the down bar, so don't worry about writing them down and remembering them. I got you. Now that you have identified what kind of foundation you want, how do you find your color? A lot of people are like, oh, you just test it on the back of your hand. That is totally fine. You can totally test it on the back of your hand. I recommend doing that too. But the best way is to test it on your neck right here, because a lot of times your hand, yes, is usually pretty close to your face color, but if there are variations with your skin, like your hand's a little bit different color than your face, you know, it's just unreliable. The best way to test it is to test it on your neck and chest. Why? Because your face is on your neck and your chest. I actually did not make up that trick. That's one. Make up that trick. I recommend buying foundation in a store and not online because it's a little bit easier to see shades, and online can be very deceiving. And if you do want to buy foundation online, I'd recommend going somewhere where they sell that foundation first and testing it out, or looking for reviews from other people as how it varies. But really, buy it in store. It's pretty much better. Anyways, so what you want to do is go to the drugstore or go to Sephora or go to Ulta, wherever you buy, and walk in and go find the foundation that you want. If you need help, there's always consultants there that can help you. But for the most part, try to find something that's kind of in your price range and that you've heard good reviews about, or you just think you'd like to try, whatever. Then look at the shades and find one that looks, hey, that kind of looks like my skin tone. Grab that one. Squirt a little bit on your finger if you can. If it's wrapped, just undo the wrapping, that's what I do. But seriously, you can kind of just, if it's wrapped or whatever, just hold it up to your skin or whatever, but preferably unwrap it. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna take a little bit on your finger and just place a stripe on your chest, and then take some of the darker one, put it next to it, and some of the lighter one, and put it next to it. Then, if possible, go into the bathroom or walk out of the store and go have coffee, eat lunch, something, just to kind of let it set. After a little bit, go somewhere where you have a mirror, either it's your car or you can use a little handheld mirror, and figure out which one fits your skin tone the best. And then that's how you can buy that one. With powder foundation, you can do the same. I think it works for powder, cream, or liquid, but that's a good way to choose your foundation. Alrighty, you guys, so now let us start our actual foundation. Now that you have it, let's put it on. Yes! So the first thing you want to do before you put on your foundation is have a clean face. Now, if you just showered or exfoliated your face and you're getting ready to put your makeup on, then you don't have to do anything. Your face is already clean. It's very nice. If you've been out all day and now you're going out at night and you want to put some makeup on, then I would recommend something like these. These are the Oxy Acne Medication Rapid Treatment 3-in-1 pads with maximum action. It instantly starts unclogging pores, controls oil, and retextures your skin. I really like these. Basically, you can get them at Walmart, and they just have little pads like this. They're kind of wet, and you basically just take it and put it all over your face, wherever, just like that. This is going to help dry out your skin if you have oily skin, and just clean your face and leave you with a nice clean feeling. As you can see, I actually I'm filming this in the morning, which is really weird. I usually film sometime in the afternoon, but that's what I had on my face. So it's really important because makeup on a dirty face will not work. Just saying, it'll just slide right off and look like a hot mess. We do not want to look like a hot mess. So after you did that, you can apply any sort of acne medication that you want. I'm just going to take this Clean and Clear Advantage Acne Spot Treatment and just apply that to any spots that you have. You really want to make sure that you're taking care of your skin before you are putting on your makeup, because if your skin is not doing good, then your foundation's not going to do good either. They say foundation is the basis of everything, but if the dirt underneath your foundation is not stable, then your foundation ain't going to stay either. So, kind of an irony because we're trying to remove the dirt from our face, but I just use dirt as an analogy. And now it's up to you. You can use a moisturizer if you have dry skin, even if you have oily skin. I mean, I'd recommend using a moisturizer once in a while, not necessarily every day. Right now I'm using the Equate Beauty All Day Moisturizing Lotion. It has broad spectrum SPF 15 and it just says normal. It's also non-greasy. So you can apply this, which I am actually going to do. I'm just going to take a little bit on my fingers and just kind of blot this around my face and rub it in. Alrighty, now if you don't want to use moisturizer because you have oily skin or you just don't have one, you just don't want to use one, then you can use a primer if you want to. Now I know there are a lot of people out there that aren't a big believer in primers because they don't think it does anything, it just adds more makeup, but there are some good primers out there that I think everybody should check out. The first one that I've heard amazing things about is the Benefit Professional. It actually runs a little bit on the higher end. It can be a little bit more expensive, but I hear it's great for oily skin because it really dries out your face and helps smooth everything out. So now as for a good primer for dry skin or skin that wants a little bit more of a luminous glow, I would really recommend the L'Oreal Magic Lumi Primer. So this is really great because when it comes out, it's in a really shimmery, white, pearlescent, it's like a liquid basically. And this is really great because it'll give you this nice luminous glow underneath your foundation. So if you have your primer on, great. You want to rub that in with your fingers, which I am actually going to do. I'm going to take some of the Magic Lumi and put this on. And then you want to press it into your skin like so, because this is really going to help everything absorb into our skin. So now, like I'm doing, you can put primer on your face like that, or you can mix it with your foundation. That is totally something you can do. If you don't want to put it on beforehand, that works great, and it'll actually sheer out your foundation a little bit. Mind you, you have to do this with a liquid or cream foundation, but that is an option. Now on to the actual foundation. I'm going to be using the Maybelline Dewy and Smooth, Fit Me Dewy and Smooth foundation. And there are two different things you can use, actually there's three different things you can use to apply your foundation. The first one is like this. This will come as basically a foundation brush, and it looks like a paintbrush, and you take your foundation off the back of your hand and paint it onto your face like this. I know there are people that do this, however I feel like it can look cakey if you just paint it on, and it can leave you streaky. If you want to take this and just streak it on your face like that and then blend it in with a different kind of brush, you can do that. But using this just alone, I don't feel like is a great idea. Next, you can use something like this. This is the e.l.f. Ultimate Blending Brush, and it's basically just a very thick, dense brush with a little bit of a dome on the top. And this is great because you can buff your foundation into your skin like so. You can also use a brush that has a completely flat top, but it's also dense. I know Morphe and Sigma make really great ones for that. I don't think e.l.f. does yet, but this one works really well. And then the last thing you can use is a beauty blender or a beauty sponge like this. I know Real Techniques makes a really great dupe of the actual beauty blender. This is one from Forever 21, and I've heard it's pretty much the best dupe for a real beauty blender. So you can just take your foundation off the back of your hand and dab it on like this. I don't personally do this, but I know people that do, and I know that it works great for them, especially if you're kind of a beginner and you don't want to put too much foundation on, or you don't want super full coverage. This is a great option because you can just dab it on like so. It'll give you a nice sheer coverage. I am going to do my foundation. This is a pore foundation. Not pour like your skin, like you pour it out of the bottle. And these you have to be very careful with. Oh, see, I just dumped out way too much because the bottle was upside down. But anyways, that's kind of spread out, but you kind of want the shape of, I don't know, I'd say about a nickel's worth. You don't need a whole lot at all. And depending on your face size, the coverage of the foundation, what you're using, it's gonna depend. But basically, I'd say go with a little bit less than you need, because you can always add more, but you just can't really take it off. So I'm going to be taking my brush and I'm going to be spraying it with this NYX Dewy Finish Setting Spray. And this is just going to wet my brush so it's not completely dry and make it a little bit easier to apply my foundation. So I'm just going to take that foundation, do 2 bounces on the back of my hand. I just went like this. And now I'm going to take this and bounce it all over the skin. I'm starting on the lower half of my face and I'm bouncing, moving in a downward motion. You always want to move on a downward motion because the hairs on your face want to be pressed down. If you press them up, you'll kind of look like you have a hairy face and like your foundation's like flaking off in a way. So now I'm just going to take 2 dabs on the back of my hand again and keep dabbing this on. Dab it on. So once you have that dabbed on, you can just kind of go around on your face and blend this in circular motions. If you can't really notice, my face hasn't changed a whole lot in color, and that is because this is the right shade of foundation for my face. And kind of blend it down into your neck and onto your ears. I actually like to put some on my ears like this, so your ears don't look completely weird. And now I'm going to take whatever is left on the back of my hand and wipe it so I have nothing on my hand. And I'm just going to blend this in. You want to blend down your nose, but I do not recommend putting it under your eyes right here. You can get a little bit if you want, but because we were going to be applying concealer, this is going to help you prevent concealer creasing. People say going over your lips helps your lipstick stay. I haven't noticed it, but I usually do go over my lips so I make sure I don't miss any of my upper lip or my chin. So now you can see I have my foundation all blended in. You can go over your eyebrows if you haven't already done them, or if you don't do your eyebrows, but I sometimes do, I sometimes don't. Whatever you want to do, I don't really think it matters. So now that we have our foundation all blended in with our brush, I am going to take this beauty blender and just kind of take the butt of it and dab it all over my face. This is just going to help pick up any excess, and like I said in my last video, you can literally just take a Kleenex and lightly press it all over your face to get any excess foundation off. And with foundation, the less the better. You do not want a thick layer of foundation on your face. Even if you feel like it might not be enough, I'd go with it, and I feel like that's better. I'd rather have not enough than too much. Moving on to concealer. So concealer can come in 2 different forms usually, or 3. It can come in a palette like this. These are very creamy, thick. Or it can come in a tube like this, and this is more of a liquidy foundation. And they also come in little pots and stuff like that. But for the most part, there's 2 consistencies, liquidy and thick. Oh, it can also come in a little tube too that you squeeze out, kind of like MAC. MAC has some like that, and Maybelline has their Master Conceal that's like that, comes in a little tube. This and this have 2 completely different uses. I cannot stress this enough. This stuff does not ever go under your eyes. This is going to make you look like a cakey, creasy mess. This is for covering up blemishes, okay? That's why, as you can see, this is pretty much my skin tone in the palette. It's not like lighter, like as you can see, this is visibly lighter than my skin. This is not. And I'm going to be taking this shade right here, which is pretty close to my skin tone, and this shade that's a little bit darker. And I'm just going to be dabbing this on my face. You don't want to put too much. And then I'm going to take my foundation brush and just blend that in. So now that we have that done, we're going to move on to our under eye concealer. As you might have seen me stress in my one video, you do not want to apply your under eye concealer right where your under eye bags are. If you're pretty young, you shouldn't have under eye bags. Sometimes it's just a ethnicity thing. But anyways, what you want to do is take a concealer that is about 1 to 2 shades lighter than your skin tone. You do not want something that's like white if you have a darker skin tone. I actually stay away from white if possible. Go with something that is flesh toned, at least a little. So I'm using this NYX HD concealer, and it's in the shade Porcelain. It's the lightest shade that they have. And I'm just going to apply this starting at my nose and going out like this. My cheekbone is right here. I'm just applying this to like the edge of my cheekbone. Now, I applied a lot because I'm trying to show you, and also I'm going to be using a tool that's going to take off a lot of excess. You do not necessarily need this much, but we are going to use a tool that is going to blend it out, so that way you do not need a ton. But as you can see, it's kind of in a triangular shape. It's in the shape of my under eye area, which is what you want. If you are going to go for a more highlighted look, you can bring this down to your nose and bring it up. That's going to give you more of a highlighted look, but we're not going for that necessarily. And now I'm just going to take a little bit of this and put it in a plus sign on my chin, a little bit on my upper lip, like so. I'm going to put a stripe down my nose, and I'm going to do some lines right here. Now, you may have seen me go like this and do this too. As you can see, it's the same exact thing. To blend in your concealer, there's 2 different things you can use, which are a brush or, like I said, the Beauty Blender or makeup sponge. This is the e.l.f. Flawless Concealer Brush. I have heard great things about this. So basically what you do with this is you take it and you just kind of dab at your under eye concealer to blend it in like so. Like that. And you would keep blending. Obviously, I'm not done blending. Brushes are good, but they can tend to not blend in concealer as much and can give you a little bit more of a cakey look. That's why I do not use brushes for blending in concealer. But you can for sure. I heard there's one by Morphe, I think that's really good. I will link those down below. But this one I've heard works wonders. People really like it. I'm going to be taking my Beauty Blender. So all I'm going to do is start and dab going upward like so towards my temples. Also, I'm going to go on the side of my nose like so. As you can see, this is just going to blend it in. You just want to blend it in until you cannot see necessarily where you've put it. You'll know when it's blended in because you'll be like, oh, that looks nice. So now for this one, blend it up and then I blend it in. You always want to go in an inward motion, at least when you get towards the end, because that is going to help your concealer from creasing and also help you get in this nose and inner corner area. As you can see how much different that looks now and how much brighter my eyes look. So now I'm just going to go down here and blend this in as well. And now the reason why I was applying the concealer to other parts of my face other than just the under eye area is because if you apply it just in the under eye area, it can tend to make your face look really bright under there and kind of give you a washed out, raccoony eyed look. So I don't know if you guys were watching this and you were like, hey, wait, Amaya, you didn't set your foundation. Well, the reason I did that was because you can never put cream over a powder. Cream over powder, no, 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 no. You always put powder over cream, which is why I do not like powder foundations, because you cannot put a cream product over that. I did my concealer first, and now I will be able to set my whole face if I want to. Powders. What are they? Pressed powder, loose powder. This one is the Rimmel Stay Matte Long Lasting Pressed Powder in Creamy Natural. And it's the e.l.f. High Definition Powder in Sheer. So you can set your foundation using either. I personally do not set my foundation because I have a drier skin, and if I would set it with a powder, it would make my skin very tight and I do not like it. I just leave it because it does not move. However, my under eye concealer will. So I use the Rimmel Stay Matte most of the time because it's easier, because it is a pressed powder. And for under eye concealer, for setting it with a pressed powder, you do want to get a pressed powder that's about the same shade as your concealer, obviously. Same with if you're setting your foundation with something like this, you want to get a powder that's the same color as your foundation. So for setting your foundation, you can use a fluffy powder brush for all over your face. And for your under eye area, you can use a tapered brush like these. This is the e.l.f. small tapered brush, which I actually use as a highlighting brush, but it is for setting under eyes. And this Real Techniques, I think it's a concealer brush. You can use that to set as well. I'm going to be using this one today because this one still has shimmer on it from my highlighter. So if you are going to use the high definition powder, I would recommend putting it on with a brush, or as you could see in my last video, I did a process called baking, which is where you take a beauty blender or a sponge and you put it under your eyes very thickly, wait a few minutes, and then brush it off. But that is something you can do, or you can just take it like that and put it under your eyes like so. I am going to be using the Rimmel Stay Matte because I do like this powder a lot. So I'm just going to kind of load my brush up. Always tap off your excess. Now I am setting in a dabbing motion like this, as you can see. And I'm going inward and a little bit outward. See? I'm going to do that again. As you can see, I'm staying up towards my eyes because that's where it's going to crease. I don't go down too far because that will start to move into my foundation area and it doesn't really do anything there. Up here by your lash line is where it's going to crease and get all oily if it does. So now I'm just going to set anywhere else that I put concealer, and when I'm setting, as you notice, I'm dabbing and not going like that or rubbing, because that is going to start to take off your concealer and move it around along with your foundation, which is not what you want to do. You want to set it so it stays in place. You do not want it to move around. So there we go. We have our foundation and concealer and powder done. Basically, we are finished. So now you would just go in and do the rest of your makeup and finish up, which you can see how to do in the next few videos. So yes, I hope you guys liked this video. If it was helpful to you, please let me know in the comments. If you have any questions about good foundations, good brushes, good powders, good concealers, anything like that, I can totally help you out with that. Leave me some comments below. And yeah, I hope you guys liked this video. Please give it a big thumbs up, rate, comment, subscribe. And yeah, I'll see you next week. Mwah. I love you guys. Bye.
This is how we do. Oh, you change your mind like a girl changes clothes, and you PMS like a, oh no.
Professional, I'm so unprofessional. This is driving me nuts. I'm filming. I'm filming. I'm still filming.
Oh, sorry, I didn't hear you.
It's okay.
I'll see you later.
See you later. Bye. Oh, I forgot to put mascara on. Anyways, so what is foundation? Foundation is any sort of makeup that you put on your face. It's usually the same skin tone, depending on how different the color is. So it comes in 3 different types of form. It comes in cream, that's 4. So basically, this comes out, a lot of people like this if you are drier in skin tone. No. I really like cream foundation. Cream foundations are really great for girls that have, lighting's changing. I hate that word. Moisturized. And you might be a little bit younger and you're not ready for that full-on, like, done made. When picking out a foundation, you want to identify your skin tone. If you have dry skin, you're gonna wake up. Why is my lighting changing? I am really not happy about this. And this is driving me nuts. There we go. Now, if you wake up in the morning and your face kind of doesn't feel like anything, if you're trying to do this exercise, my God, everything's changing. My walls look green and they're really blue. And get the light to change. Anyways, a lot of times, no, not dewy skin. But if you have a really white face and a little bit of darker on your neck and body, it's not, thank you, thank you, thank you. I try so hard. Don't make fun of me. Also, I recommend buying foundation not online. Son, just a bit. Find that that shade. Cleanment. So now that you've had that done, if you don't have any acne, good for you. You're lucky. You're probably not like a teenager. Good for you. We understand. You don't need to brag. Oh my god. I cannot stress. Lighting change. Hey guys, sorry about that. My camera decided to die halfway through my concealer. Go figure. So I have it all plugged in now and everything. But for me, since I am heavy-handed, as you can see, that rhymes. This is what I use. I am going to be using the Rimmel Stay Matte. See that? Yeah, I did it. I did it. Oh, I should have worn it like this. This is cute. It's adorable, Maya. It's on my head. Yes. Alright, I'm going to take a shower and wash all this off. And now wear makeup for the rest of the day because that's how I do.